40. I'm doing pretty good so far. Just leveling up, getting legendaries. What is going on today? I do need to go to the gym today. Got hit legs. What else? I was supposed to. There's one person that was supposed to close yesterday with me, and that. It was that younger lady. She's like a couple years younger than me, but everyone believes that she's on drugs and that, which I can kind of see it a little bit, but despite the fact that people want to do whatever they want to do. I always say it like this. Nowadays, do what you want to do. Just don't involve me with your bullshit. Simple, right? Like, if you got... if you want to talk about things and that, cool. Talk. Speak your fucking mind. But all I have to say is, if it's something that's, kind of like don't give a fuck about type shit, like politics and that, I hate when people bring up politics. I was even talking to the boys last night because I work with a bunch of dudes on Sunday. And we were just talking about that. We're just like, everybody's going to say the same thing. When you work with dramatized people, especially women, you never get anything fucking done unless you, like, explode emotions with them or you let them temper tantrum their way out. Now, I always say, not all women are like this, but majority of them are. And it gets to that point where you're just like, man, like, stop. Excuse me. So basically, me and the boys were talking that. We're talking about, one of the girls that left in that. And we're trying to, like, be detective in a way. It's like, oh, well, what actually happened? Like, why does she want to leave in that? It all came down to very, very simple things. She didn't want to work. She didn't like working. But she had to work to make her money. She was good at working, but she wasn't thrilled by it. And I always think to myself, I'm like, what else do you have to do with your life? It's like you're saying there's that much shit you gotta do in your life that you don't want to work. Like, so you guys, like, I get it. To a certain extent. Like, you gotta get stronger. You gotta be able to go through hardships to get stronger. Like, you can't just sit there, and this is for anybody and everybody. You have to get stronger. So when you see people that do these weak things, they're like, oh man, I don't want to work in that because I'm lazy. Well, you got no purpose, you got no motivation. If you can't work hard, how the fuck are you supposed to do anything at all in life besides sit there and, like, just think that you're alive? Now, it's not about making the money. It's about working. It's about enabling yourself to be part of society, to contribute to the people around you that contribute to fucking you. That's what it is. There's always someone working on your house. There's always someone working on your apartment. There's always some dude beat a bug spray or some dude cleaning out your fucking your AC and shit. The job may not be super duper hard, but sometimes it can be. When you work at places like any type of stockyard or any type of fast food place, You're gonna have your ups and down times. But the thing is, the more busier you are, the faster it goes. Like, I'm getting paid again tomorrow. And guess what? I literally just got paid 2 weeks ago. And I did spend a little bit of money in that, because I had to buy specific things that, like my protein, got some vitamins in that. I probably spent like probably about close to $300 on supplements and shit that I use, like my vitamins and stuff like that, and pre-workout. And I got some, KSM 66, astral gummies and shit, ashwagandha that I really enjoyed taking. I always think it's okay. It can be weak sometimes, but you gotta raise your head up and you gotta say, enough is enough. The motivation as a kid is like, I want to do something. But then, your dreams get knocked down to a specific thing. It doesn't say you can't do it. Of course, you can do anything you put your mind to. But people don't believe in that anymore. Like, why don't believe in that? And say, well, why not? Your mind is the most creative thing that you have, and it does almost everything for you. It's just how your mind works. Like, I need to cut down on weight. I gotta lose probably 15 or 20 pounds if I want to be, decently lean. I try to do that first and then build muscle. And then I'm learning it's easy for me to build muscle first and slowly trim down. It's hard work because I know what I'm doing to a certain extent, but I'm still learning more. I know how to work out rather decent now. I know when to work out, how long I need to work out till my muscles burn and ache, and then I can go home. I know that I take a protein shake as soon as I get home. I know to load up on protein and carbs and get glycogen up through the roof before I go exercise. And then I do it. I enjoy the company of, whoever I'm exercising with and shit. Whoever might be that I've seen there at the gym and that. And then, very few times I talk to people on that. Get a couple girls looking at me and that. Get to look at their fat booties all hanging out and shit. It's nice, I'm just like, okay, I enjoy it. But that's what it is. I get it, people want to play video games all day. I listen to people like, I play video games for like 6-7 hours a day sometimes, because I'm so into a game and that, and like I get that, but like real life is more fun. Being part of something, growing it. I think it's way more fun than just sitting there and pretending to do something. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I've been right there before, when I was younger and that, sitting there and playing games all day, really enjoying the fake life. And then when real life comes around, I'm like, oh man, I don't like it. Well, now it's kind of the other way around. I enjoy going to work. I enjoy being at home. But I also like to be outside of my house. I also like to do other things so my mind can have fun everywhere, but it's a different kind of fun, different kind of entertainment. And honestly, it works. God doesn't lie about saying that you will be living like, heaven on earth. Because everything's enjoyable to a certain extent. I'm going to have my downtime. Some days I have my lazy days where I'm just tired all day and I want to sleep and just relax. What's up, Parker? That's what life's all about. You gotta just enjoy the things that you have. If you want to get more, then you have to work for it. You can't just ponder away. It's like thinking about when you go to school now, back then, back when I was younger and that, You know, you had to force yourself to study because you were like, oh, man, if I don't pass this test, I'll have to flunk. I have to go back to, you know, redo my shit again, and then you be 1 year older than everybody else. It's like being a fucking senior and you flunk out and you have to do your senior year all over again, and you just waste your fucking time, but because you have to learn specific things and they force you to do it. That's how it should be. I don't think anyone should just get out of school just because you just want to. I think they legitimately have to fucking pass. You gotta put some drive into it. That's what I don't like about these schools nowadays. They pass with very low fucking averages, and all the kids are fucking stupid. You know, honestly, it needs to be more, you know, stricter. And say, hey, you know, we're raising the average up to, you know, you gotta at least have a B to fucking pass these classes. We're like, whoa, what's the scene that? Oh, F doesn't matter anymore. You only get a D. D's a failing and C's a failing. You have to be able to have a B to pass these classes. So it means you gotta get like an 80% or higher on everything. I think that's fair. 80%? You know, depending on, you know, certain things, and that maybe 75% or more. That means you can be 25% stupid to be able to pass. So 1/4 of all the shit that you can pass, you only need 3/4 to pass. Nowadays, it's 2/4. Not even that. It's 1/4. You really need like a 50% chance to pass, if not less. And the teachers have the power to be able to pass you or not. Because my math teacher fucking passed. He was like, I mean, he was kind of right about it. Now he's like, you guys just need to get jobs and that. If I held you back again, it's gonna be absolutely fucking pointless. It's not that I'm a bad teacher. It's just, it was my math teacher, Mr. Adams. He's like, I already know you guys are smart enough to do this shit and work in the real world. Because you don't need to learn algebra and shit. It's all a bunch of bullshit. The best paying jobs are construction and harder work jobs, management jobs and that. Becoming a doctor and all that bullshit and that. Fuck that shit. Doctors are extremely fucking hard jobs. And you're always on call and you get fucked in the ass a lot. And you gotta go through a lot of bullshit college now to be able to get to that. Depending on what doctor you want to be. By the time that happens, you can become, you know, a district manager and still make 80 to 100 grand a year. You know, this is what I always like to tell people now. If you don't think about the money that you're making, and you only use it to survive, this is the biggest thing in our country, in America, we have the biggest problem with. We have so much money status mind, which means that we're so greedy with the money that we have. We love spending it, and we love having it. And you have to spend it because our society demands that we do certain things with the paper money, the monopoly money that we have to be able to survive. A whole entire world depends on it. Okay, fair. But it's a power struggle then. People that have way more money than everybody else can live nicer, but doesn't mean that they feel nicer. Not every rich person's fucking happy. Ignorant people that want to be rich, they always talk about it. They're like, oh man, I like money and that. I can do everything. I said the reason why you're struggling with that type of things because you don't have nothing to live for because you never worked. If you had a person that worked for 30 years straight, which I say most people do, and now they get a retirement, they bust their fucking ass in that, they make their first, you know, $100,000 to $300,000 that, you know, have a house paid off and stuff like that. And people say, well, you should live your life while you're young. Well, young people from 18 to 30, which is the more primordial age to get a job and learn about your shit because you're healthy and able and work a lot of fucking damn hours and that and maintain a good flow of money and still hang out with friends and that, whatever it is. But it causes you to grow up. These people wait till like they're in their fucking 30s, say like me for instance. My circumstances could probably be slightly different, but still stay the same. I waited too damn long. I worked off and on for 15 years. And I said the last 3 to 4 years I actually had a stable job. And as I say, I have nothing to look forward to. I do, because I'm single and money's a lot easier to get, and I don't spend nearly as much if I had a woman. That's the problem, is that right? You stay single, you can literally make like 4 times as much money. Because you work more hours and you're able to save more. So, because you don't have to worry about having a woman pamper her ass so you can get some fucking pussy. So she can, whack you off and that and drain your balls, whatever the fuck it is. And these are kind of things that men have to think about. It sucks to be a woman nowadays because things are changing. Women are all depressed and all lonely and that. I see a lot of single women and that men just don't want to be with them. And I'm just looking at it from the perspective to say, well, the reason why is because women haven't caught up to what men have been doing for thousands of years. They're trying to catch up in the last 30 years or so. Like working and that, making money and that. They're still like a lot of generational shit they have to go through and that before they can catch up to what a man's been doing for a while. And I say some women have done it, but these women nowadays have this kind of like egotistic way of thinking. I want to make a lot of money in that because that's what I like to do. But normally the man makes it for me and that, but now I'm my own, man. But you don't want to work. You don't want to do anything. You want easy money, and the best way to make easy money net is all sexual or manipulation. Not saying all women, of course not. But if you do see in that, it's normally more, I always say that it's more not right-minded, more ill-minded women or men that just don't want to work. And I got people in mind right now, because I'm hearing some stuff at work and that about people that used to work with us, and they're working at another job, and they're hearing that the guy that did end up getting fired from our job, he's working at another job, and he's complaining already that he has to fucking work. He's victimizing himself in that, and like, oh man, I hurt in that, yeah, you're like, it's inevitable to feel pain. How big of a pussy are you in that? I'm like, bro, you do stuff. Like, oh, I'm in so much pain that he's a massively overweight dude, and that, it's like, okay, well, fight against it. Your body tells you that you have pain because it wants you to get stronger. That's how your body is. Your body's a trick. When you feel a lot of muscle pain in that, it just means that you have to get stronger to be able to go through it, to be able to activate more muscle fibers and activate more nervous system, more tendon strength in that to get stronger. That's what I always tell everybody else. Sitting around for 10 hours a day, constantly playing video games. Like I'm walking around right now while I'm talking because I want to get this out. So normally this is what I do. Doing this little bit of moving around that for 15 to 20, 30 minutes in a row, I'll get, my calories will go down. But all I'm trying to say is, like, people try to just do the opposite of what they're trained to do. And if they're not trained to do these things, then they're just getting left behind. And the world wants people to be able to work. That's how society is run. And the younger generation of people now, like the people just get out of high school now and that, or in their early 20s, or even people that have like a good cultural background, they're taking over the fields. And then you got these sappy people in that, they're just not strong-willed in that, and they're stuck. And like, well, I just don't want to work. I'm like, why not? Because I don't like being part of society. Well, I mean, because no one fucking likes you. You gotta have a good personality. I maybe saying not a good personality because most people do. You gotta have a good way of communicating with people. You can't, number one, you can't think you're better than everybody else because you don't fucking do nothing that's better. That's the first thing I always tell everyone. It doesn't matter what you think of yourself, because that's a private matter. You can think you're a superhero even though you're not. But when you get outside of your private sector of life, which is, the reality that's a pushing against your little echo bubble that most people live in, because they have a bunch of people whispering like, "You're so strong," and they're, "Yeah, I'm strong. Yeah, I'm really strong," and they don't do nothing. You can't throw out mass amount of emotions towards people in that are weak, and it keeps them weak. Reassurance is great, but when you reinsure someone too much, you're all victimizing them. Like, well, they can't do nothing that because everybody has the same problems. How many people say, "Oh, my hands are..." I mean, I listen to this fucking complete bullshit of victimization, and it's so hilarious because they always quit. They always stop working. Then things don't get to their needs, and they complain so much about, "Oh my god, my hands are like..." You're like 25, 20. How the fuck your hands are? I don't think you worked that many years in your life, like massively hard labor. Either something wrong with your fucking diet, or you're not drinking enough fluids, you're not having enough vitamins, and like your body just doesn't just break down just to break down. If you don't keep up with nutrition, you're gonna fucking die. Duh. And then this whole weed fucking pandemic shit. And it's so crazy, people just won't stop it. They're like, "I will never stop smoking weed." I hear that shit too, I'm like, then you'll never have a job because you're so addicted to this fucking shit. And you smoke it during work and people are going to fire you. Well, they shouldn't be able to because it's legal. It doesn't matter. Yes, federal and state might say it's legal, but private businesses, every business is a private owned business. They have standards. You're there to work so they can give you money. That's it. Without that money, you can't survive. This is how the world is. So if you don't, attend hut and salute the motherfuckers that are giving you money, guess what? You're not going to have a fucking job. You can make small mistakes in that, yes. But when the small mistakes grow to large mistakes, because it's a constant thing, because you get away with it for so long, people start talking. That's how you see all these people getting fired at for saying really stupid fucking shit, or they're smoking too much weed, and they're like, "It's not fair because you can't get what you want." I said, here's what it is. You can get what you want after work. People say, "I shouldn't have to change when I'm at work." You don't have to change your personality, Nat. You gotta change how you look at rules, because your rules at home are a lot different, because you probably don't have any because you're an idiot, compared to rules at work. Like, I fuck around a lot at work and that, but I get my job done. Our times, when I was working, our times were shit. It took forever to get down because we were fucking busy up front. And finally, we got it down. We were at 10 fucking minutes, and we got down to below 4 minutes. It took us, 3 hours to do it, but we ended up getting it down because we were working. We were busting our asses. People stop working to talk, and you hear these emotions. It's like, dude, can you come and walk? Well, that's the whole point of that narrative. That's the whole point of that, that saying. If you can't work and talk at the same time because your brain's not doesn't know how to do it, then maybe you should just not talk at all and just work. But when you get these feelings of wanting to express yourself, they have to express it because they're not focused enough. They're all about, I want to be part of something. You can be part of something and be praised if you work good. Now, I get praised a lot because I work good. And I don't really care because I know I work good, but it's nice to know that someone notices, People may not like my personality or may like my personality. I don't know. Most times I'm thinking that people are pretty cool with me. I speak my fucking mind. And I'm a rather strong, big dude. So people kind of have to respect it because it's hard work being put in, and people see that hard work and they respect that hard work. So the more I look at it, I'm just like, okay, well, just stay truthful. Fuck your feelings. Your feelings never matter. That's your own personal thing. If you can't handle the backlash of how dumb you are, which is fine because everyone's stupid, but when you're constantly being told not to do specific things, you're like a child. You have to be put in the fucking corner and say you gotta go to timeout. You know why they do the timeout thing for? Is to be bored and not be entertained. It teaches your mind discipline. These kids have never been taught that. Of these young ladies and young men, never been taught actual discipline. They walk around life saying, I can do whatever I want to do. You can, but there's actions to all the things that you do. So when you do specific things, say anything at all, and just say if it's bad, then there's going to be consequences for that. You will be judged based upon the things that you do. And trust me, God always does it. Every single time in that. Like one time, one of the guys that work in that, when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, bless his soul. He sat there and he was saying that he deserved it. And I told him, this was a little while ago. It was probably was it 2.5 weeks ago when this happened. And I said, why? Well, he was saying that he wants gay people dead and da. I'm like, when you hear that? He's like, well, he got quiet in that. And so I talked about it with him and said, so you're saying that somebody died that had kids, that had a family, and that it's okay for them to die because he has an opinion? He kind of got quiet with me. I was thinking to myself, that just because your life fucking sucks because you are a piece of shit fucking person right now, it does not mean that you could sit there and hurt everybody else because they actually work for their fucking life. They actually work hard for their life. They're not fucking lazy like you are. Just because you're a lazy fat sack of shit, it does not mean everybody else that wants to be motivated to work, that they need to be on your fucking level. It's the thing is, you haven't caught up to the people that actually are trying to make a difference in life. You're still sitting there in your fucking stool, in your shit, still like trying to figure out how to get the fucking smell off of you because you don't know how life is. Well, maybe you should have listened to your parents. Maybe you should listen to people that have, more knowledge than you, instead of living the fucking dirt trash fucking life that most people tend to learn when they're young and they live that life. And you could tell. You can tell by, act of bad hygiene, maybe because they don't brush their fucking teeth. They got nasty ass teeth and shit. They don't take care of themselves. Like, oh, my life sucks and that. Because you choose that life. God said it best. Choose me, you'll live life like heaven. It means you have to obey rules to have a better life. There's rules you have to obey. Normal rules of life stand firm. Don't kill, don't steal, don't covet, don't do things that hurt other people in that. Be nice, be gentle, be respectful. Especially being respectful. Respect people. If you do not know them, especially everything about them, which most people don't. I always tell people, I'm going to dislike certain things about you, but I'm not going to hate you for it. Because I don't need to hate everything about you, because most people have bad things in their minds. Most people say stupid things. But it doesn't mean your whole entire personality is shit. No, you got 25 to 30% of your personality. It could be fucking dumb. So you act on 30% of their way they do things in that and say the 70% is not worth fucking learning. It's not worth being. Everyone has a heart. Everyone can learn. Everyone needs to respect each other. This is where we start having problems with that. People take a way of life and they stick to it like fucking glue. Like really shitty poopy goo. Like that smelly ass glue that you smell and you fucking die from it. That's how these people live life. They plaster their fucking personality on that shit and their learning skills, everything else, and they're really hard to learn and try to push. They love to have power, but they don't understand how to get that power. They manipulate people to get that power. because they cheat, and they sit there when they get that power and that they think they become a dictator because they're fucking stupid and they're very ignorant people to begin with because they don't respect people. It all starts with, if you don't agree with what I have to say in that, I don't respect you. I said the only reason why you don't respect anybody is because you can't comprehend what other people are saying or doing because you're that fucking stupid. You never think that you're just dumb. You never think that maybe you just need to sit down and listen to people instead of being like, they're targeting me. I heard this shit, I've done this shit before. If people target me, I get mad and get on rampage that I start thinking of stuff that's not true. Used to. Now I don't at all. Now I don't give a fuck. And guess what? I tell people the truth because most people don't care. I say, you target yourself with so much hatred because you're so fucking lost. Just like Jesus said, and Jesus is right because he's the Son of God. His words make sense. When you are lost, you shall be found. That's the whole point. When people get lost, shall be found means you read the words of Christ to find yourself. Because it makes you love yourself again. It makes you have purpose again. It makes you want to do things you need to do in life that you always want to do. It's not about sins. Sins don't matter anymore. You've already been forgiven. You make mistakes. Learning from the mistakes. Not continuously making the same mistake to a certain degree. I guess, some mistakes are fine. But because they're small and they're stupid. But if you can learn and get better, become a better person. Become more respectful. Say hello to people. Nod your head at people. Respect other humans around you now because you're all part of the same thing. This is where you get the problem at. People think they're higher up than others because they believe in stuff that makes them want to think that. And so when they walk around, it doesn't matter what mistakes they make, they'll just sit there and victimize it and they think it all goes away. But as God is a very intelligent designer, he gives you guilt. He gives you depression. He gives you anxiety. You get those things because it's a reaction to what you fucking do in your life. When you say things and do things that are bad for you and stress you out, what does everybody do? Oh, I drink it away. I smoke it. It's a fake reality that you're putting yourself into. None of that shit works. It never did work. When I stress out, if I do stress out nowadays, I pray. So, for instance, I stressed out over one of the girls that was talking about, Charlie Kirk and that. And she was saying some stuff about him hating gay people. And I was thinking, I'm like, you're not even gay. I love how you white liberal women are all thinking that, I care about gay people, that you're not even gay. You don't even know what gay people go through at all. Zero. None. And you don't understand. Because you don't like them anyway, so you don't communicate with them. So, this is how you do it. You gotta get your bootstraps, pull them fuckers up. You gotta get your boots dirty. You gotta be part of that society now. Like I did. I wasted 2 years, almost 2 years being part of gay society now. And I have to say, most of them keep them to the fucking themselves. So I get all these white, crazy liberal women, oh, gay people. It's like, no. The gay people don't like you, bitches. None of them fucking like you. Because you're provoking people to hate on them when there's no hate. And that's why that day, because since I actually have the experience of doing it myself, I know that I can rhetorically, like Jesus said, I could judge that person because I actually know specifically how it is. So I threw down slight judgment, and she tried to retaliate and trying to pull back her words in that. I said, when you people speak that are fucking morons, that's why you speak in those fucking fallacious of emotions. You have to understand, no one's gonna fucking listen to you. Most people ignore you, but you're gonna trigger someone that's gonna tell you to fuck off. And then when that person tells you to fuck off, your bubble gets popped, and then reality sets in. You're all like, maybe I am a piece of shit person. Yeah, maybe you are a dumbass, and everything that you know is so fucking small that you don't even realize that everybody's smarter than you, or everyone's, what you want to say, slightly better than you, because they actually work hard, and they actually try to push past the limitations. You motherfuckers judge, but you don't judge yourself for being a fucking heroin addict or cocaine addict or fucking doing drugs and shit. You don't judge yourself saying, my drugs make me fucking dumb. My drugs make me worse than everybody else. I said, how can you standard yourself to think you're better than someone else that doesn't do drugs, that actually is, healthier than you are altogether? And you would justify yourself being better? You have to rely on mental altering drugs just to get through the day. I can wake up, my dick in my hand, and I'm ready to fucking rock and roll. I'm ready to smash some fucking faces in with my fist or whatever the fuck it is. Basically punch reality in the fucking face. And I start doing my shit. I'm like a damn robot now. I got things I gotta do, and I always do the same things. I don't wake up and be like, oh man, I don't know what to do today. And they flop on their TikTok and they watch a bunch of, transvestites and all these fucking crazy ass, far leftist people, and they're like, oh my god, life's so bad. And they shake their head and demonize shit, and that they do all these hand signals and shit because they're all fucking crazy. Their eyes get really big. They got big ass nostril fucking piercings. They're all like, I live by my trauma. It's like, okay, yeah, and you like dick too, don't you? I only had 100 guys. Yeah, that's a lot of dick. You're barely 22 years old. That's what they do. They're like, I wake up in the morning, man. I think about what I'm going to do today. I'm like, okay, new day. I already know what's going to happen. I know as soon as I fall asleep, wake back up, I already have it in my mind. What am I going to do? Get up, eat some food, drink some fluid, take a big old piss, wait for me to take a big gigantic fucking shit. It happens every day morning. Take some vitamins now, because I got vitamins now. Again. Get on my stream, do a little bit of grinding, get some experience in that with the game that I like and that. And I spent maybe a couple hours doing that, or I did my play. Get on my stream, talk about Jesus, talk about life, talk about just shit that makes me laugh and stuff that's fucking ridiculous that people do. And then, as I'm talking and walking in circles and that, try and get some cardio in and shit, I sit there and wait. And then when I feel like I have to blow a huge shit out of my ass, which is probably going to happen probably the next 20 minutes or so, talk about stuff and have fun, But try to be respectful to a certain extent. So anyway, so I was talking, when I uproar with her and that, and I was saying she got scared. She was like a little kid, and she tried to pull back herself, and everybody else was there. Luckily, I had a bunch of people there. They were all kind of agreeing with me. I was like, yeah, it's shut the fuck up about that stuff. No politics. You say, well, it wasn't politics. That's considered politics. You're mentioning a political, religious person that died. You're complaining about a gay person that is probably a Christian trying to celebrate, his gawning in a good way, trying to be, respectful for him. And you're sitting there saying, oh, because he's gay, he shouldn't have to do that. I said, who the fuck are you to tell anyone to do anything when you're a drug addict? You have no morals in life. You have nothing. You can't give or contribute to nothing in life because you are the shit stain of life. Until you get that shit stain out of your life and you clean yourself up, then you can be able to speak. Until then, you can't speak about anyone because you're trash. Is that fair? I think that's fair. You can have your opinion. Yeah, at your fucking house. But when you think everyone thinks like you do, I know people at my job and that they kind of agree with the stuff in that, but now that they heard me, and I said the biggest thing I ever say, it says, if you don't know something, learn it. Go to the actual source and learn it. Visualize it. Go through what the person actually stated. And everyone's starting to do that now, and they're starting to see how crazy these fucking people are that are saying things that are fucking lies. And they're all lying. They're all lying. They say, well, Christians hate gay people. I said, Christians are the most peaceful people in the fucking world. You know why? Because Jesus told us to be peaceful. We be peaceful. We respect people. I don't give a fuck what you are, whatever you want to think that you are now. Because it's not your personality that fucking matters. Your brain can be diluted to bullshit. It's your heart. And that's what we truly believe in. Your heart matters more than what you have in your head. Because your head can be manipulated. Your actual heart, your spirit itself is what every Christian should go by. That's how you heal yourself. It's from within. You can't change your mind if you can't heal the soul. You can't heal the spirit. That's what Jesus meant when he's talking to Nicodemus about renewing your heart. By cleansing the water, he's telling you to within you, you can change yourself. It's not about learning more or less. It's about understanding how great you have it. Because the one thing I learned, and I kind of knew about in that, I was looking at this short. It's about what Jesus said about hell. And people try to say, well, hell's not that bad. Let me put it to you this way. When I heard what Jesus actually explained, they were showing images of it and that. Of course, there were fake AI images and that, but they were showing images of that. Here's what Jesus said. And like, thinking about it scares the shit out of me. This is why you should fear God. Hell is literally a place of ultimate torment. Ultimate torment. Non-stop torment. You can't rest. Internal suffering. And then guess what? You get to watch people in heaven. That's how tormentive hell is. You get to watch the happiness of heaven for eternity while you're fucking getting roasted, getting eaten by bugs and shit, getting torn apart by worms. And they talk about this. Jesus talks about this. I don't care who the fuck that you are. Oh my God, I hurt today. My fingers hurt. Next day you can heal. In hell, you can't. You constantly fucking die over and over and over again. Forever. If you don't believe it or not, that should scare the shit out of you as a human being. Because you have a chance. You have a choice to make. Right fucking now. While you're sitting there getting all depressed and like, oh my God, life's so bad. This world doesn't fucking matter. It never did matter. You can live it. You live with good means. This is what's going to bring people more to God, to understand the Maker. It should scare you into mass submission to beg for forgiveness all the time. Because God states, you shall fear me because I am the judger. I judge you based on what you do in this life. And many people die throughout the thousands of years in that. And many people have near deaths experiences that. God gives that message. He says it up front. I don't want you guys to go to hell, but if you do not choose me, you will. And people try to say that's unfair. I said, it sucks to suck. You have to follow rules to a certain extent. You have to at least try. It's not about being a good person. It's about believing in Christ. Because if you don't, you're damned. You gotta believe in Christ with all your heart. You gotta try your best to be a good person. If you think you have to fight someone, don't. God justices them. God always justices them. It does not matter. You forgive them. Because why do you forgive them? Because God is going to justify it. the most powerfulest entity, period, is going to justify that person. So why should you have to worry about it? I personally don't. As soon as I got done with that argument, I apologized to that young lady. She's a little bit younger than me. I call her younger than me. Young lady. And I said what Jesus said on the cross. Because you just don't know. And I knew it wasn't me saying it because I am not that nice of a person. And I knew it was my heart talking. I just felt I had to say it. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not mad at you. It's because you don't know. And the truth is, she doesn't know. Say, you don't know the truth unless you look at it for yourself. That's why Jesus always says, I am the truth and the way to the Father. Because it's the truth that sets you free. Everybody's like this. Some people misjudge people all the time. It's fine. You do it all the time. There's nothing wrong with it because you're human. You don't know any better until you do know. That's why you make mistakes. Because you can make them better. You slowly change your style of life throughout the years that you live until you perfect the life that you want. So if you're a bad person, any type of person that's been gangster, stuff like that, done all this bad stuff and that, they all change their mind and most of them become Christians. And they all sit there and say, I've done really bad shit, trying to be cool and that, and ask for forgiveness, and God forgives them. Because you're willing to go through all that pain and suffering, thinking it's all cool and that, because your adrenaline's up and that, and you feel good and that. But when you get older and that, because you have time to change, eventually you do change. And eventually when you die, you're going to be, I have no regrets. You know, I believed in you from whenever day. It doesn't matter if it's a couple hours before you die. When you give yourself to Jesus, He forgives you. And people say, why does He do that? Well, say, why does God forgive people now? Because you don't fucking know. That's why. Once you learn the gospel, you have to stay with the gospel. And some people don't. Some people don't change at all. And they read it, and they don't do anything with it. They just read it. I say, every time I read it, I get more apologetic. I get more nicer. I get more positive, so to speak. Now, I don't want to be nice all the time, because being too nice kind of interacts with getting negative, emotions on me. So I have to be stern with my belief. So sometimes telling the truth is being a dick. Well, good for you. So little by little, the more I get to know the gospel and that, I see it from Jesus' perspective. It's like, if you know that God has your back, which He does, and you obey what He wants you to do, He just wants you to be happy and flourish, He does everything for you. Just imagine. People say, well, what do you mean by that? Everything's for you. As long as you're nice and respectful, you always have a job. As long as you're nice and respectful, you're always going to have people around you. This is how God works. If you're always nice and respectful, and you don't do stupid, outrageous shit, you obey the Moses' laws, you're going to have people going to love you. You're going to have families going to love you. You're going to have everybody's going to know you because you're respectful. That's what God's talking about. He mentions that in the Old Testament, and then Jesus mentions in the New Testament. Well, it's Jesus all the way around. That this is how He wants our life to be. Just love each other, embrace each other. That's all you have to do. That's what God wants for us. Period. Everything else, all the evil stuff and that He does, He gets rid of it. Some people get signals. People that have huge faith, like when hurricanes hit and that, sometimes people have huge faith in God and they get angels whisper to them and they leave. They immediately leave. They're like, you should go. And they're like, I'm leaving. And they fucking leave. And the hurricane hits. And then anybody else in that vicinity, how many times does that happen? Sodom and Gomorrah, all these people in that, it sucks, but that's just how it is. And you want to say that you get special privileges for believing in God? Yeah, you do. I don't know what to say. It sucks to suck. It's not to say that, it's all use God for the stuff. No, it's just because you have faith and you believe and you give yourself to God, to Christ, He protects you. He tells you not to do things. He tells you to leave at the specific time. I have time management in my head to a certain extent. I know when to leave my house and when not to leave my house. And some days, I get a little confused in that, but I always get an instinctual feeling to leave at the specific time. And then as I look throughout that, I can be like, okay, I missed this car hitting me because I left 30 seconds later or a minute later. Because it turned and wasn't looking and ended up hitting someone else. That is the blessing of God. God controls everything to a certain extent. People that have faith, you have a narrow path to walk, but that narrow path is secured 100%. Everything hitting against that path doesn't penetrate. That's why He tells us not to get in fight with people. You can speak your mind and judge someone based upon what you know. If you know the truth, you can judge someone that doesn't know the truth. But you have to be apologetic. And it's a hard practice to say sorry. It's hard practice to forgive people. It is the hardest thing to have mercy upon people. Because they don't know. And some people want to think that's all. Well, you think you're better than everybody else. To have mercy and to stand down and apologize is the hardest thing for anybody to do. That means that you inside understand that this person just doesn't know. But to that person, you're thinking that you're being submissive. No. You're apologizing and forgiving because that's what Christ wants us to do, because then God kicks in. And I want to say this as nice as possible. Like I said before, with an entity so powerful that creation was made by Him, yeah, I'll let Him do it. Because He's going to do it the way that's going to probably end up transforming that person to believe and say, yeah, maybe I was a piece of shit person. Maybe I should apologize. Because if that person apologizes to me, that young lady apologizes to me, saying, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and that, I looked up his stuff, and then I realized that, yeah, I was wrong. Then guess what? Then that person is finding out the truth. And then they're going to know the way, which is the gospel. And then they're going to get to the Father. That is how it works. And that's how God, I believe, works 100%. That's why we don't do nothing. These people, these hypocrites that are trying to say they're Christians, they kind of throw all this shit out there and they're trying to demand this stuff and that. I said, whoa. There's a lot of street preachers out there that just talk about the gospel. And every time someone says something ignorant, they bring up the gospel, which speaks the truth of why they're like that. Every single time. Because if your maker doesn't know who you are and doesn't know how you're going to act, then what kind of a maker is that? God knows exactly pinpoint how everybody is. And the Gospels literally explain in detail, more or less, how humans can be. You don't have to go to a psychology class, read the Bible. You'll learn more about humanity than you would about going to a psychology class. Where do you think the therapists and psychology people get all their information from? It all comes from the Bible. All these studies and that, it all comes from Christ. His word is indefinite, and everybody uses it, but they use it for their own expense. How dare they do that? Because He says, don't use my words to make money off of it. Because it does say that in the Bible now, because it's not meant for greediness. It's meant for love. And please understand, the world can leave you behind, but I'd rather have the almighty Jesus on my side than to have this fucking world. 100%. I do not care what anybody states. People say, well, He could do everything for you. I mean, He has done a lot for me. He's changed my life around. Money didn't change my life around. People try to say that. Say, well, if you got a better job making money, you'd be happier. I'm like, what the fuck does the money have to do with me being happy? Well, I think if you have your own house, you have your own car, now you'd be happier. I'm like, I'm happy the way that I am. Like, and I hear people say this. And sometimes there are people that are close to me, like my family and that. And I said, okay. So if I fall in love, but the thing is, I can't do that. I just can't. My mind or my spirit will not allow me to do it. I just can't. It will never let me do it. I can't fornicate with women in that. I can't do nothing. I just can't. They just won't let me. I just don't do it. I just don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. I don't fucking care about it. I do not care about this world. I don't care about all the injustice, all stuff that it happens. I'm sorry for people that go through shit in that. But that God takes care of it. I don't need to do anything about it. Why the fuck do I have to worry about everybody else's life or worry about even my life? God's doing it. I just sit there and live my life. Be happy. Whatever I want to do in that, as long as I'm not massively fucking retarded, and I try to obey Moses' laws as a human being, I'm good. Okay, I believe in you, God, 100%. Jesus, 100%. I want to live my life. Follow, I lift weights and I get as strong as I want to get in that. That's my desire in that. I'm going to do it. You know, I praise God for it because it's my desire to do it and I want to do it. So I ask God for blessings. I ask God for everything. See, if you don't think that God doesn't give you anything, I said, well, you never ask. That defeats the purpose. Ask. You shall receive. Now, if it's something that's ironically fucking stupid, you ask for everything. But if it's something that, you know, like getting someone to love you, God doesn't do that. He said, God specifically told Solomon, it's like, I can't make anyone fall in love with you, and I can't make you happy. That is your choice. I will guide you towards someone that you can love, that I know that's going to make you happy. But sometimes people wait. And I don't think I'm one of them. I don't think I'm going to fall in love with someone anytime soon. I tried when I was younger, and it always backfired because I wasn't ready. And now that I kind of like put myself in this position, I see a lot of beautiful girls in that. And every single time I see a beautiful girl in that, you know, they're always like 20, then between 20 and 25 in that. They ask me my age, I give them my age, and they always freak out because they don't think that I'm fucking, they don't think that I'm fucking in my mid-30s. I'm about to be in my late 30s, so I'm about to hit 36 pretty soon. They're all thinking that I'm fucking 20. Because my face structure, it looks young. And they're like, how do you look so young? I'm like, well, because I'm not that old. Like, 30s are your prime times. People say it's not. You're fucking stupid. 30 to 40 is your prime time. For men, for instance. Women, more or less likely, no. You should have kids before that. But, like, your primal, like, best way of doing things, you're more mentally stronger and physically stronger than that. You understand the world a little bit more than that is in your 30s. It takes a little bit of time. Some people can grow up very fast. Most people don't, especially nowadays. But that's what it is. And that's what you have to tell people. Live life slow. Exorbitant slow. Don't live life fast. People always do all this experience shit. And they do it a lot. And I see them doing it. They're all like, they go to concert. I have to have these experiences. And I'm like, who teaches you this shit? Well, I think it's fun. So your whole entire life is supposed to be about being fun, but you're doing satanic rituals every single time you go to any of those fucking concerts. And you don't even know it. You don't even know that you're literally giving yourself away to sin. And you keep on doing it, and you're thinking it's okay because it's fun. I mean, if you knew what hell was like, knowing how Jesus said it, I prefer not to. Nope. Never. Ever. 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 Nope. I'd rather be in heaven. I'd rather not. Would never want to be in hell. People always fight that shit. Like, why do you fight when you actually know how to know it's true? Every religion, every culture talks about hell. And they talk about Jesus. I guess someone has to be, right? Because why do they keep on mentioning the two things that Jesus talks about the most? Other than being a good person, that The reason why he says that, because he knows how the Father is. And he's scared for humanity to go to hell because they don't deserve it. Eternal sin. No, he doesn't think anyone deserves to go to hell, because hell is very, very, wrong. It's disgusting, actually.
Best one's what you're looking for.
I completely understand. See, like, why do people do specific things and that? I get it. Yeah, I do. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. You don't last forever. Young people think they live forever, but they don't. That's what the biggest thing about God. He gives you time to change your mind. That's why time exists. The first sin happened, and he wants you to redeem your sin by living a life with enough time, hopefully, to be able to sit there to redeem yourself. Because you made a mistake. That's utter mercy. And when God talks about, God's, a helper, that's what he likes to do. Because he describes himself like he describes a woman. He says, I am a helper to you. I'm a blesser towards you. When people think, oh, he's all demanding and reassuring, that's actually extremely loving and caring. It's just love is a discipline. You have to be disciplined to be loved. You have to know things to be loved.
This one's got some heat.
That's what it is. Two levels it went up by, and that holds an enormous amount of stuff. Problem is, our load speed is shite. Yeah, it's probably that dual one, is it? Yeah, it's that dual one. Yeah, this is the one I'm not really too big fan of. The damage is a lot better though. Yeah, it's Look at 260 something. 268 compared to went up by like 70. Yeah, I'd rather get the one I had before. That one's a lot better. We'll keep on finding it, bro. I wish the magazine was like 60, then I understand I can shoot a little bit longer now, but it's only 40 something. I want to have it was 40 to 46, so it's like defeats the purpose. This gun is really good though. I think about 600 odd people. One of the things that we talked about the gnashing of teeth. He's talking about hell. Like, that's how miserable you are. You like gnash your teeth together and it's fucking misery. I mean, why does he warn us about hell so much? He doesn't want anyone to be in it. That's how much he loves us. He gives us a fair warning about how like bad life actually is. He's like, well, how do we not go to hell? Like, well, you believe if you have faith in Christ. You read the gospel that you humble yourself, you respect people more, you love people more. Ugh. It's all about not hating people. Like, I remember this one scene of The Chosen One. It was the Thunder Brothers. It was John and, I think it was John and someone else, James. And they were getting spit on and stuff like that from people that didn't like Jews or whatever. And Jesus said, no, don't fight them in that. No, don't do anything. He's like, and then they both got angry, and they're all like, God should rain down fire upon them. And then Jesus was talking, he was like, you really want heavenly fire upon someone just because they spit on you? And they thought about it. They're like, yeah, maybe that was a little bit too much. He's like, yeah, even Son of God was like, yeah, that's a little bit too much. You probably shouldn't wish that upon anyone. Because he knows how powerful God is. Because he is God. And that's one of the things that, that I thought about. I don't want anyone to go to hell. I don't want anyone to get wrath from God. I don't want any of that stuff. Because it's well, first off, it sucks. Why would you want that on someone? The sad thing is, people wish that stuff upon people. Like, why? I wouldn't wish that stuff upon my worst enemy. Hell? When he says, so Jesus explains hell like this: eternal darkness. You can't see nothing. You basically are blinded, and all you feel is burning and torment. Depending on how bad your sins are, and that, depending on, on stuff like that, Because here's what he says. He says, the people that know me but reject me get the worst of it. The people that didn't know me, that don't know, because God goes by what you know, and don't know anything in that. Some people go to heaven because they just don't know, but they still have a sense of something around them. They just don't know what it is. But if you reject that sense, and you still don't know what's going on, that your hell is not going to be as bad as someone else's hell. But someone that does know, and they preach it, and they talk about that, and they don't, submit. And sometimes it is hard to do that. That's why you pray every day. You try your hardest. Because it's not that it's your fault that you're a sinner. It's never been anybody's fault that they're a sinner. It's the first sin that enabled all these sins. So we're living a life of someone else's sin. And it fucking sucks. Yeah, it sucks. I can't lie about that. That's pretty cool. And that's the crappy part about it. I think a lot of people don't understand that. And, I can't blame them for that because, Action hand. What does that even do? Increases damage. That orbital damage is fucking sick. And that's some new damage even sicker. That's so good. I think it does have a timer on it, so. Oh, I gotta go take a dump. But yeah, don't wish anything upon anybody. Just because they harm you, do not wish anything bad. Because, like, life is a lot. Life is beautiful. It's not that bad. People think that's that bad because you don't know how beautiful life is because you don't look at it from that perspective. But hell is, well, none of that. Like, hell is literally hell. It was meant for the fallen angels and the demons. It wasn't meant for humans. But if demons are scared to go to the abyss, and God, and like Jesus has mercy upon demons, he knows how bad it is, then that's the reason why we should give respect. The Legion demons that were inside of these two guys in that, I think it was one guy, they all came out and soon they saw Jesus, the Son of God. Sorry, Gabe, you hear me? But when you have demons that say, I don't want to go to hell, I don't want to go to the abyss, I don't want to go to lake of fire, they literally are scared. And they know. They say, have mercy upon me. Human beings are fucking dumb. When they're like, hell. Oh. Information needs to be put into brain. They say, well, if I go to hell, you think it's going to be a paradise? You think Satan's going to be there and be like, hey, come on in at the paradise. Lucifer is not the ruler of hell. Lucifer's literally in hell. He's about to be judged. Lake of Fire is the last thing you want to go to. You have, literally, the Prince of Darkness is scared, well, to eternity about going to hell. That's why he wants to bring everybody with him. Because he's scared. He's shitting his fucking angel pants. Because he knows. He saw it probably with his own eyes, how hell is. Shit your fucking britches, boys and ladies and gentlemen. Because why would you want to go there? It's not ruled by the devil. It's ruled by God. People think it is ruled by the devil. You know, all these movies and that, like Little Nicky and that. Oh, it's ruled by the devil. No, it's ruled by the Father. It's ruled by God. It's Jesus. Jesus rules it. He has the key. He locked it from inside. Like, literally, I'm blown away that the more I know about it, the more I'm like, yeah, Father, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah, forgive me 100%. Please, have mercy upon me. For that, I'll have mercy upon everybody else. Because I know that it's not anyone's fault why they sin. Because they don't know. And that is the key words in general. You don't know. If you don't know why you're doing it, then how can you be punished? But people that know why they're doing it, they know that they can have a better life. But they choose not to. That's what Jesus said. It's a choice. It's always been a choice. You can choose to do all the drugs you want. But if you have faith in Lord Jesus, and you try your best to be the best person you can be, guess what? You're probably going to go to heaven. Then again, I don't know because I'm not Jesus. I don't know. I'm not the judger. But how Scripture talks about it, even murderers get to go to heaven. A thief. The thief that was dying on the cross. Was talking to the other thief. And the other thief was being a dickhead. He's like, oh, come on, Jesus boy, get us out of here that if you're the Son of God. And the other thief was like, how dare you talk to him like that? And he asked Jesus, his dying breath, he says, please, I believe in you in full. I know you are the Son of God. And Jesus said, well, you will be in paradise with me when you die. And the other ones, you know, not in hell, but it's a purgatory based like hell, because, you know, other ones living in paradise. Isn't it amazing? Like, I just think about the way that thief was saying he gave all of his love immediately to Christ as soon as he saw him. And he told the other guy to fuck off right in front of God himself. And God accepted it. Isn't that astounding? A dying man, the last few minutes of his life, about to die. That's what he says. That's what makes it so amazing. Even the last breath that you take, if you give yourself to Christ, He will have mercy upon you and you will go to heaven. And people say, oh, but God's so bad. I said that's the most merciful being, period, is God. The last breath you take and you give your heart to Jesus right before you die, He accepts you into heaven. Why? Because He knows it's not your fault. But as God stands, God is justice. All sinners are supposed to go to death. People say, oh, that's cruel and mean and that. I'm like, that's not your fault, though. Like, none of it's your fault. That's why God gave us the ultimatum. He said, I'll have mercy upon your souls if you do these rules. If you fall by, you know, what my son Jesus told you. You gave your heart to Him. He changes your heart over. He makes you not sin. And you go to heaven. It's honestly pretty simple. We're all damned to go to hell anyway, so you might as well give your heart to Him. Like, I mean, it's like the easiest, honestly, it's the easiest thing, but pride and our sins are so bad sometimes. Pride gets in the way of a lot of things, and that's why a lot of people are not accepted into heaven, because they have too much pride. They don't believe. They're like, well, I believe in this life. This life is a speck of dust compared to actual heaven. Not even a speck of dust. It's a speck of the tiniest thing, atom. Like, it doesn't mean shit. It literally, 100 years is nothing for eternity. Eternity, no time. It's forever. Like, even in Revelations, when Jesus said He'll come down and live 1,000 years with everybody, I'm up for it. Let's do it. You know how amazing that would be? To see the Son of God and be able to sit there and hug your Maker. It'd blow my mind. It would blow my mind to see Him look at you and say, your suffer ends here. All the stuff that you did in your life, all the suffering, all the bullying that you went through, all the people made fun of you and that, all the stuff that did and that, all the people that hated on you because you believed in me. Now you can lay rest. With me. You won't grow old. You live 1,000 years with our Savior. That, well, like, exactly. You should be speechless. You should be, well, happy. Like, yeah, let's do this. Like, I'm ready for it. I mean, it kind of sucks that other people that don't believe and that don't have faith and that are going to be probably, have massive issues happen to them. And that, it's like I feel sorry for them. I'm going to have mercy upon everybody I can because, like, it's not to say that I'm better. No, that's not the point. We're all sinners, but I want to have faith and I want to be not a sinner. I hate being a sinner. I don't like it. It's annoying me. That's my own personal thing. I despise this world of sin. I just don't like it. Why hate each other? All eat from the same tree. I don't care what you are what you think you are as a person. That if you all ate from the same tree and gave thanks to the tree, to God Himself, why the fuck does it matter who the hell we are? We all can live underneath the same tree. And that's what kind of bugs me as a person. Like, I hate seeing, like, people like, oh, well, you're a conservative person. That I'm gonna hate on you because you see something that is, trying to be merciful, but they change it around and say, oh, it's not merciful. Like when people say God's a bad person, not person, well, you know what I mean. Like God's a bad entity. He's they say, oh, he's just a terrible person. You know why? Because you have so much hatred in your heart. You don't see how much mercy that He gives you. And like how much, it kind of makes me upset. And it's like, now that I know, and I know more about the truth, and like, I feel the messages going through my brain. Like right now, I feel it. I feel that I'm with God right now. And I have to say, it's the best feeling in the world. Knowing that if I died today, I probably die with a big ass smile on my face. I'll accept hell if I deserve it, which most likely I probably do. I can think about all the stuff, all the sins I've done, but a lot of stuff I tried. What I'll say is, have mercy. Because no one deserves to go to hell. Nobody. Don't read up on it through all this bullshit. That read up from God Himself talks about it. Jesus Himself talks about it. And people say, why does He mention it so much? Because it's a terrible place to go. And He wants you to know how bad it is, how terrible it is. And for a mercy God, one that gives you mercy, it's trying to warn you and say, hey, this shit's fucking real. People say that Jesus without, no, He went to the land of the dead. And all the people that suffered in the land of the dead, He alleviated all of them. And that's why Satan really doesn't like it, because God basically took hell that was taken over to a certain extent by Lucifer at the time. He took it back and He said no more. Big Daddy came down and took it back from his little child that was a big old rugrat, big asshole. He took it away and said, hey, I locked you inside. I am the keeper of death and life now. And Lucifer will probably really pissed off because you can't fucking do nothing. Temper tantrum probably. That's why if you notice that people that temper tantrum and get really mad out of nowhere, it's like that's what Lucifer did. He temper tantrum. Oh my God, Father, I want to be better than you. Like, whoa, son, no, you're an idiot. And then he took revenge. That's why he fell. Temper tantrums. So anyway, temper tantrums, because they've been told no. Now you know where it comes from. Demons, Lucifer, it all comes from them. They're the only ones that do it. Like angels don't do it. Or, whatever, the messengers don't do it. It's like, you just obey and you just do all the rules and that. I wonder who does that. Oh, wow, we're about to have a prophecy right here. I'm one who cries and bitches about rules and goes against all the rules of natural order. Sounds like it's a bunch of crazy ass lefties are doing all this satanic stuff, and they're saying, I'm not a satanic person. I'm like, you don't obey rules, and you complain about the rules that were given to you, even though the rules are meant to balance out. People say, I hate the cops, I hate rules, I hate this. And it's kind of like what Lucifer did to God. He told the Father, basically gave him the middle finger, and then I'll be the one that rules all. What? Wait a minute. I gave you everything. I gave you the most beautifulest body, the most beautifulest of gems. I gave you everything beautiful. And you still want to go against me. Because that's what God did. God made Lucifer the most beautiful angel in that. He gave him free will. He chose to go against them. Who chooses to go against rules? Who chooses to go against God? Who doesn't believe in God? Who like, oh, God is a terrible person that. Yeah, when you listen to someone say God's a terrible person, I say mercy upon your soul because, well, that sucks. Maybe you need to rethink it. It's like, well, God made my life horrible, and God gave you a choice to make your life horrible than that. Well, why don't He make things better than that? Because it's a damn choice, you fucking moron. Since you don't obey rules and you don't obey the laws that are given to us by God for nature itself, just like anything else, you will have to do it yourself. No one can tell you anything. No one can preach to you long enough for you to know. You have to do it for yourself. It's an act of choice. You have to forgive yourself. Jesus talks about forgiving yourself. Why? Because it redeems your past. It redeems yourself. I forgive myself for the things that I've done in my past. The stupid shit that I've done. I can't say I've done a lot, but, like anger issues, stuff like that, I changed myself. I don't do it anymore. Anyone that knows me, they met me now, that know me 10, 15 years ago, I haven't seen in a while, that they would think, wow, well, you changed a lot. I say, yeah, I redeemed myself. I humbled myself. I gave myself hope through Christ, which is saying I gave myself to Jesus, and I don't care. I want to be it. I want to be part of it. I don't care what anybody says. If people want to run around and do drugs and have sex and all that shit and that, and they put their dick in everything, and I said, why? Well, because it makes me happy when you're young. Because when you're young in that, you still have, faith with God because you haven't sinned nearly as much. But as you get older and that, your sins start to build up. That's when you start to go through that life crisis thing. And they say, well, it's because of your age. No. Like these feminist women bitch and moan about, stuff and that. Why do men don't want to date me now? That's because you're fucking crazy. No man wants to date a unpeaceful woman that doesn't, follow God. I'm sorry. It just won't happen. All the men that these women go for, more or less likely, are pretty moral people. Not saying they're all believers of Jesus. If they are, I can't say anything about it if they want to bang these bitches and that. Because maybe they're trying to fall in love with them. Not everyone's going to be so strong-willed like me. I can't do it. I tried many times. It won't let me do it. If I have a guardian angel, he's demanding me to not do it. And for some reason, I just can't. I'm stoned. And I've been like this my whole entire life. I just can't. I have gorgeous, sexy women on top of me. Rubbing their titties in my face and that. Rubbing their butt and shit on my dick and that. And I just can't do it. Other guys be busting nuts over the place and that. I just can't do it. Like, that's just how I am. I've been like this my whole entire life. I tried. I said maybe because I'm scared to have kids. To a certain extent, I think it has a little bit to do with it. Alright, because I manipulated myself in a certain way that I know Don't like the way some women look in that. I'm kind of, I guess, picky in that. Maybe it's that. But I had ridiculously perfectionate looking women try to do stuff with me and couldn't do it. So I think it was a consequence if I had a kid with someone that I didn't want to have a kid with because my heart wasn't into it. Like my ex, I blast my ex's ass. My human side, I guess. My mind wanted to, but my heart couldn't. My mind wanted to tear that ass up, that big old ass. I'd tear that ass up until that ass was raw. The thing is, my heart wasn't into it, so my heart always wins. My spirit pushed it away. I just couldn't do it. And honestly, now I know, because Jesus talks about that. Jesus talks about, God talks about it in the Bible, and that, like, some people are full on protected. Some people have the Holy Spirit, and they keep the Holy Spirit. Because God has purpose for them. And I'm not saying that I'm one of them, but I'm starting to believe that I am one of them. Because I can't do specific things. It just doesn't work. I just can't. Like, it just doesn't work. I don't know what it is. My mind will want it. The demons will talk and try to do the little thinking whisper things and that, because that's basically what they do in that. But my spirit's staying strong. I don't give a fuck, honestly. I try to attract women in that. And people say, well, maybe because you're gay. I'm like, no, it's not because of that. It has nothing to do with being gay. That's stupid. It has to do with that there's so much evil bitches out there that are so, like, satanic, and they don't even know that they are. And they think it's alright to sit there and cheat on their boyfriends. They think it's alright to sit there and have sex with a lot of different dudes and that. Like, they always have, like, these weird-ass tattoos on them that you can just tell that they've been through a lot, of dudes, because they stain their skin because they're so sinful. That's what sinful people do. They stain their fucking skin to remind them of their torment. And sometimes people do that to remind them, well, it reminds them of their torment. Reminds them of a sin or emotional transaction they had, and they want to remember it. I said, what the fuck do you want to remember an emotional transaction? Wait, it doesn't matter. You can't get that person back that died. Like, I can think about a lot of people in that I think, one girl specifically that I think I probably could have saved. Do I have regrets? Yes, but I know damn well that person was a good person. I believe 100% that person had a good heart. Because they wanted to interact with me, and I actually was in love with her. But at the time of that, I knew her sister and that. It was kind of weird because, she was, her younger sister and that. And she was, like, barely, like, I don't know, like, 17, that I was, like, 20. Nowadays it wouldn't even matter to date someone 4 years younger than you, but, when you're just getting out of high school and that, and dating someone that's kind of like a junior in high school or become a junior in high school, it's a little weird. 3 or 4 years kind of make it fucked up, But to me, in that now, she would have been like 31, turning 32 or something like that, if she was still alive. But she ended up dying, and it kind of fucked me up when I learned about it. I didn't learn about it until like 5 years later, 6 years later. And I found out about it. I'm like, oh man, like, oh my god, I can't believe that she died. And I was like, I really, really legitimately like this person. And to me, God was telling me to go with her because he kind of figured that would probably have been my soulmate. I probably would have saved her life. But I used society's stupid, ignorant fucking ways of thinking that just because you date someone that's a little bit younger than you, they despise it. It could have saved her life, and we could have been happy together. That's why I fucking hate this world. I despise this world altogether. Our rules and regulations, they're not from God. They're made up by humans, by mortals, and they make no fucking sense. No one wants to follow their heart. They say, well, this and that, and you get people that literally will uprise and be like, oh my god, if I dated a 20-year-old girl being at 35, I would have huge amount of feminist fucking cunts trying to attack me with all this bullshit and that. because I didn't choose their old saggy titty ass at 30-something years old, and I'd rather be with a 20-year-old. And they would be like, oh my God, that'd be outrageous. And that's what I try to do. I met a girl at work. She turned 20 when she was at work at that, and I want to date her. She refused because she was like, well, you're too old. And I said, but me and you really like each other. It's pretty obvious that we like to hang out together and that. And she couldn't get off her fucking mind because she was like, well, the status of people and that, people are going to think I'm weird. And I'm like, that's the problem of it is. Number one, who gives a fuck what people think? What matters is your happiness with my happiness. And we could have been amazing together because we were basically almost the same. We talked the same. We're big in psychology. We're big in, she was a very conservative based woman in that. She was going through a little tough